Kinetic Balance Fitness brings you your 30-minute dumbbell, door anchor, and resistance band endurance strength circuit. So what this workout is all about doing is targeting our core and stabilizing muscles so that they can have the endurance and the stability to support muscle building strength movements and preventing long-term injury and pain. So if you don't have a door anchor, feel free to use a heavy pole or post. You can even do a slip knot inside of a door frame as long as it's safe. Now pause here, get your personalized warm-up in. These personalized warm-ups are what keep you out of pain, help you get more out of your workout. In 4 seconds, you're gonna hear a tone and I'm gonna start explaining our very first exercise. So our workout today is 75 seconds on, that's where that endurance comes in, with a 25-second break between exercises. We have 6 exercises, only 2 times through. Our first exercise is a lateral lunge down chop. So we have that resistance band anchored up high. We're gonna hold one band in each hand. So in 3 seconds, you're gonna join me, pause if you need to. We step out to the side for that lateral lunge, stacking our toes, knees, and hips, and then we're taking that resistance band and we're pressing it down on each side of our leg. All right, release it back, come up into balance, squeezing those glutes quickly. Out to the side, chop it down and across, gentle pull in on the belly button. Our chest stays up tall. Our belly button is pulled in, and notice that as I chop across, my body isn't rotating. I'm not chopping this way and extending those arms or my core. I'm simply extending those arms across the top of my knee. Already halfway through, go ahead and switch sides. Same thing towards the opposite leg, bending down, chopping across. Notice my shoulders stay down and back. My chest stays up tall. My chin is tucked and my head is back. As I chop across and extend those arms, the farther out away from my body I go, the harder it's going to be on our core, the more we're going to engage. 7 seconds. Conversely, the closer I keep it, the less challenge I'm going to feel through stabilizing that core. Take a quick breather. That was your first exercise. Our second exercise is a single leg squat with a resistance band pull down. So we're gonna take again that resistance band in each hand. We're gonna stand on one leg, bringing one foot just an inch off the ground. We're gonna sit down into a single leg squat, stand up and pull down and squeeze into that pull down, okay? So down into that squat, chest up tall, pull down and squeeze, release back up, squeezing those glutes. Notice that I do get a little bit of a lean back as I go into that squat. Now you've got 2 options here. We can stay on this leg the entire time, or we can switch halfway through. Now the key is we are pulling, feeling this work across the outside of those armpits, keeping everything nice and neutral. If you want to switch, we can do that now. All right, I'm going to show you from a different angle here. Foot hovering off the floor, feet hip width apart, stacking my toes, knees, and hips as I sit down into that squat. My chin is tucked, my head is back. You can see I'm keeping my shoulders away from those ears. I'm not pulling up this way, and I'm not squeezing those shoulder blades together, creating an arch in my back. Down to 5 seconds, guys. Trying to keep it even between both sides of our body. Great work. So these compound movements are total body movements. We're gonna get a lot from this workout. Our next exercise is a rear banded lunge to balance. If you would like to, grab a set of dumbbells, and then you're coming inside that resistance band. Now, we're gonna come with me in 1. We're gonna step down and back into that lunge, all right? And then we come up out of that lunge, we push forward and squeeze into those glutes to come up into balance, okay? Now, If this is newer to you, do not worry about adding in those dumbbells or the resistance bands. Pick one, all right? Practice that proper position. Feet hip width apart, all 5 toes pushing into the floor. Really focus on that control and up and squeeze. Now, sometimes coming up into balance can be very challenging depending on our history, medically, physically, and where we're at on our journey. Feel free to come up to a kickstand, tapping those toes down at hip width apart. You can also step into neutral if you're feeling any knee or hip pain. Big squeeze on those glutes either way. Notice I'm staying on the same side the entire time because guess what, guys? We're doing both sides the whole time. All right, feet hip width apart. That front leg is really burning. 2 seconds. Boy, are you gonna feel that work in that front leg. Hopefully in that glute, that's where we wanna feel it. We're gonna come down to the floor and we're gonna do a glute bridge with an alternating chest press. Get yourself ready, placing those dumbbells on your thighs, lying back, okay? Palms facing the legs. You're gonna bring both dumbbells up towards the ceiling and they're staying there. We put those hips up and then we tap one arm at the ground. 1, 2, back up, hips go down and back up. Now we're alternating those arms again. All right, so these are a little bit more challenging movements as we perform these compound movements. My wrist stays stacked over top of those elbows, tapping down, squeezing the bum, gentle pull in, so I'm supporting my spine. And as I tap down, my hand is in line with the middle of my sternum here. I'm exhaling as I press that dumbbell back up towards the ceiling. Now, my glutes are burning, my chest is burning, my shoulders are burning, and the back of my arms. We are gaining a lot of challenge from this exercise, slow and controlled. And guess what? We're gonna embrace the burn, we're gonna love the challenge, and we're gonna breathe a sigh of relief because we have 6 seconds left. Exhale as you push, working all the way to that tone. Awesome job. All right, don't forget which leg you did for that lunge to balance because we're doing the same thing on the opposite leg, all right? Now this is where numbers come in. It can be really important or really good to try to keep the same tempo, stay consistent, keep count of your exercises. Come with me in 4 seconds. So balancing on that opposite leg, stepping down into that lunge, big up and squeeze. It's actually completely normal here to have one side feel more challenging than the other side. For me, that's my right leg. I don't know if you noticed on that very first single leg squat to row, I actually had a pinch or a pull in my right knee. So I'll have to make sure that I release it and stretch it accordingly. So my right knee likes to go in, making this side a little bit harder. Really have to focus on squeezing my knee out over those toes. Nice, slow and controlled. Notice I also get a slight incline forward on my chest. So the angle of my chest matches the angle of my shin. This allows me to get a little extra glute engagement. Down with control, up into that balance. And that side that's harder, you might notice, it starts to burn sooner. 5 seconds, whoop, and you lose your balance into that resistance. Whew, shake it out. All right, last exercise. We're going to a lateral tap with a banded cobra. So we're bringing those bands back up high, and you can pick one side here. I'm gonna pick the opposite leg that I just worked. So I'm gonna balance on my left leg here, and I'm gonna go out into a lateral tap, balance, and then a cobra. So this is simply pulling that resistance band and rotating my hands so my thumb points behind me. So tapping to the side, Up into balance, rotating that thumb. Okay, nice, slow, and controlled. We stay long and tall through the core. A gentle pull in on that belly button. Chin tucked, head back so my ear is in line with my shoulders, in line with those hips. Notice that as I pull into that resistance band, my body's gonna wanna rotate. Don't let it rotate. Stay strong and long. And remember, we're rotating that palm so that it faces up towards the ceiling. This is called external rotation. It's really, really good for shoulder stability as well as posture. So lots of things to benefit. If that balance is challenging, which you guys can see, I'm struggling a little bit. We tap out to the side, we come into that kickstand, and then we pull into that band. Nice and controlled, squeezing those glutes as we tap out to the side, trying not to shift that weight. Guess what, guys? That's round one. We only have 2 rounds in this workout because of the length of these work times, because of the compound movements. All right, so don't forget we're going back to that lateral lunge with that down chop. In 5 seconds, are you ready? 6 exercises left to finish this workout. So stepping out to the side, stacking those toes, knees, and hips, and then up into that balance. Now, because of this higher work interval, we're still gonna aim for 10 to 14 repetitions, I'd say. These compound movements do take longer, and I definitely want you to work on form first and not be rushing. One more on this side, and then we're going to change sides. So we're challenging both sides equally here. Stepping out to the side. That means, yes, we are halfway. Chest up tall, belly button in. That catch and balance is a quick squeeze in the glutes. Notice my chin stays tucked and my head stays back. I'm looking about 3 feet in front of me. I'm not looking up at the wall and lifting my head. This creates a much challenging shoulder position. I'm gonna change my angle again a little bit so you can see. 5 seconds, guys. Feeling that core engage, challenging that body. Awesome work. Shake it out. We have that single leg squat with a banded pull down. Now you might notice that the heavier that weight, the easier your single leg squat's going to be. Okay, so 10 seconds. Challenge that body on that row and that single leg squat, and you can adjust the weight accordingly to get the most out of it. Here we go. Foot hovering off the floor, squatting down, row, release, up and squeeze. Nice, slow, and controlled. Chest up tall, belly button in, squeezing the back. Remember, we're gonna switch legs at about halfway through. Exhale as you pull and squeeze. Notice my elbows come about 45 degrees from my side. I stay tall and long through my shoulders, the crown of my head. Go ahead and switch legs. Remember, we're hovering. This is not a pistol. Holding straight out. We really want to focus on that form in that single leg squat, lining up our kinetic chain, making sure that our posture stays strong throughout the movement. Big squeeze on those glutes as you stand up. You're on the home stretch and we're not coming back, guys. 5 seconds. Trying to keep those numbers even between the 2 sides of your body. Beautiful work. Slide that door anchor back down to hip height and get ready for that lunge to balance. Now, I remember which leg I started with first. I'm going to start with the opposite leg first this time. So for me, it's my right leg. And I remember because the second round, the second exercise was a little bit harder for me, right? All right, bend those knees to pick up those weights. Feet hip width apart as we go down and back. And then big squeeze on those glutes. Remembering we keep count. Trying to keep that second toe pointed straight ahead. Most of that weight is going to be on that front leg. Going to feel that glute working. Exhale as you push up and squeeze. Anytime we're working the legs in this capacity, we actually are going to feel our heart rate climb. These are big muscles. So even though this is not a cardiovascular movement per se, you're really going to feel that heart rate go up. You're going to hear me breathing heavy as we challenge those big muscles to engage and build. Remember, 2 count down with control, keeping good alignment. 2 count, big up and squeeze. Focusing on form, then challenging that body and weight. 7 seconds. Embracing the burn through the glute, through the front of that thigh. Oh boy. Putting those weights down, shake it out. We have that glute bridge to alternating chest press. 3 exercises left, guys. Quick drink. And then get down on the floor. Get set up. Dumbbells on those thighs. Lie back, bend those knees. Palms facing the legs, hips up. Punch them towards the ceiling. From there, 1 arm at a time goes 1, 2, and then that glute bridge, hips down, hips back up. Alternating those arms. Making sure that we're slow and controlled on that down. That slow controlled down is where we get those micro tears, the small tears in our fibers. This is what actually damages our muscle and creates some soreness. Now, you don't always have to have soreness in order to have muscle damage, but that's why it's really important that we give our body time to recover at the day after a lift. So either you do not lift and you perform cardiovascular exercise, or you lift a lot lighter so that your muscles can heal and actually build from your workout. 13 seconds. This recovery process is what actually allows us to build that muscle and make gains from our workout. Oh boy, last one. Yes. Feeling that burn, embracing the challenge, and guess what? Lunge to balance, opposite leg. Last heavy exercise. All right, we're going all in here, 75 seconds for this last big movement. Challenging ourselves to stay symmetrical between both sides. Focusing on form first. And whatever we do to one side, we need to make sure that we're doing to the other. All right? Now, if you don't have a mirror in front of you to see proper alignment, which is feet hip width apart, all 5 toes on the floor, it should almost look like a squat. And then one leg is like a kickstand. All right? You do not have to go to 90 degrees on that leg. We go as deep as we can. That's pain-free movement. For me, I'm able to get my knee almost down to the floor. I do not tap my knee on the ground. I'm not looking to damage my kneecaps, even though I am on carpet. All right, but I don't want anybody doing any damage. But it should be pain-free movement, whatever that looks like. The range of motion may get less as we get older or as we get heavier. 10 seconds, guys. Working to that tone, working to that even number. You're almost there. Oh, feeling it. Work. Getting comfortable being uncomfortable. That's where change happens. All right, last exercise. Bring those door anchors up high for that single leg lateral tap with that banded cobra. So I'm balancing on my right leg. Whatever leg I just did that lunge on, I'm doing the opposite leg for my balance here. So tapping out to the side. And then that cobra, palm facing up, pointing that thumb behind you, not allowing that body to rotate by squeezing the glutes, gently pulling in that belly button. Nice and long and tall through the crown of that head, chin tucked, head back, strong rotation on that arm, that external rotation for posture, for stability, for healthy shoulders. No one wants a painful shoulder. So we've got to work those shoulder girdle muscles, and this is a great way to do it. And we get much more out of it. Reduces low back pain. Remember, you can use that kickstand, and we're not shifting that weight, meaning we're not tapping out to the side like this. We're tapping and squeezing like we're ballerinas. Yes, guys, finishing strong. 7 seconds till our cool down and stretch. You have earned it. A challenging endurance circuit, building strength and stability to support our body in day-to-day movement, preventing pain, preventing injury, allowing us to build healthy, strong muscle and good movement patterns. All right, here we go. Cool down and stretch. Toes straight ahead, feet wider than shoulder width apart. We're going to step one foot slightly forward, heel in line with those opposite toes. I know I do similar stretches in all of my videos. We lean into that leg, we squeeze the glutes. That's because these muscles have a tendency to get tight. These muscles that have the tendency to get tight tend to cause pain and problems and injury. Nobody has the goal of working out to get pain or be injured, right? We're here for longevity. We're here for health. We're here for independence and our goals. So listen to your body. Treat it wisely. Line up that kinetic chain. Get more out of your workouts. You're already on the road with KBF Fitness. All right. Once you feel the inside of that thigh calm down, go ahead and switch legs. Shifting that body weight over, squeezing the bum under. Staying long and tall. Now, I told you that the inside of my knee has a propensity to catch on my right leg. This is a pattern that I'm continuously working to improve. And this stretch in particular, I feel it through the inside of my thigh. This is something that I try to do daily. If I skip a few days, sometimes it comes back. It's not a heavy pain. It's only like a 2 or 3, but it's enough to say, And since I try to listen to my body and I want you guys to listen to your body, I try to set a good example. So we're going to come down to the floor, stretch out those thighs. Lunge position, back foot flexed. Feel free to use a pillow mat or blanket under that back knee. And we squeeze the glutes, tucking those hips under. You can reach up towards the ceiling or over to the side, only if you feel an increase in stretch. Now, this is a very important stretch. It stretches the front of our thigh. It stretches the front of our hip. These muscles have a propensity to get very, very tight. So we should stretch them to calm them. They are associated with knee pain just below the kneecap, just above the knee, as well as hip pain. All right, so stretch those quads. Go ahead and switch sides. You might notice that one side is tighter than the other. I told you that I have some inner knee pain on this knee. My hip flexors are tighter on this side, okay? The next stretch we're gonna do is going to be the stretch that I use to help relax these muscles that cause my particular pain. Feeling engaged and empowered by a great workout here. Go ahead and switch back to that first leg. Instead of keeping those legs in that straight lunge position, we're going to bring that back foot behind that front knee. We're going to tuck those hips under again and reach up towards the ceiling. Add that small lean again, only if we feel the increase in stretch. What you will feel is now the stretch is no longer directly in front of the thigh. It's more towards the outside of that hip, potentially towards the outside of that thigh. This stretches the muscles that invest into that IT band, Okay, the big piece of tissue that runs down the outside of our leg, keeps all of our thigh muscles in, connects our hip to our knee. It also has a tendency to cause tightness on the outside or even on the inside of that knee since these muscles work together. All right, go ahead and switch legs. Oh, this side always feels so good. Oh, baby. Nice big stretch through the outside of that hip. This is what my body needed. Oh, yes. So listening to our body, if you're feeling that way, if you're saying, oh my gosh, that feels so good, what a stretch, you might need to be doing this stretch a little bit more frequently. Tight muscles normally present themselves before we have pain and before we get injured. So if you're feeling that sensation of, oh boy, I really could use a stretch here more, you might want to make sure that you come back and do that stretch more often. All right, finally, we are going to finish with a nice child's pose, toes together, knees nice and wide. Reach those hands away from the body, shoulders down and back. Big deep breath in. Inhale through that nose, exhale. Pressing that chest towards the floor. You'll feel a nice stretch through the outside of those armpits. Oh, potentially down into that low back. If knee range of motion is a challenge for you, please bring those hands up to something higher. Go ahead and sit down and back that way. That way this shouldn't be painful on the knees. Just a nice big stretch through the outside of those armpits, deep into those ribs when you take that deep breath. Come with me one more time. In through the nose. Expand the belly, expand the ribs. Exhale. Sink nice and deep. Thank your body for allowing you to do this workout today. Thank your family, friends, and loved one. Thank yourself for making time for you, your health, your wellness on a deep perspective, because it's all of these things coming together that make the journey of our health and wellness part of that bigger picture of life. Build deep health. Keep up the great work. Keep up all your hard work and consistency. And I hope that I get to be helpful on your journey towards finding that deep health and living your best life. Thank you. Never hesitate to reach out with questions, comments, feedbacks, as I'm always looking to be my best for you. Hope to see you again next time.